Okay. I come to understand a more simplistic way of explaining, and when I'm talking to people about, this legal aspect of things and how these things, how they operate in the courts, and standing when it comes to dealing with, when you're dealing with court matters, dealing with court procedures or whatever. And it's not about, like, how people, they say you walk up in the court. I'm in front of the red light. I think I kind of came too close to it. But how you're actually presumed, like they say, you're presumed to be dead when you walk in the courtroom, and it's not really the case at all. They're talking about, you're not a dead fiction or a dead entity. What the hell? How the hell the damn green light going out? I was wondering why I ain't see no damn. This shit was red the whole time. That's crazy. But anyway, I need to fix that damn light. I'm sitting here waiting on it to turn green. Damn green light was out. But anyway, the thing is, when you're talking about, when somebody talking about you going in there as a dead fiction, a dead entity, and I'm like, I get into these little mini debates with some people, people, good people now. It's always healthy debates, good debates. And, when I'm talking about, dead entity and fictions and stuff like that, just all types of little things. It's an iron sharpening iron type thing. Keep in mind, iron sharpening iron, anytime you're sharpening irons, there's a part of that iron that comes off of the whole thing in order for it to be sharpened. Certain things have to come off, in order for it to become sharp. So there's some type of, I can't just say it. Y'all get what I'm talking about, like a purging going on when you're going on with these conversations. And so this is why I have these discussions with people. And so you're not going in a courtroom operating as a dead entity or as a fiction. These are things that we're taught in the beginning. When you're a beginner and you kind of just new to this, and you really start to believe that that's you going in there as a fiction, or you going in as a dead entity. And I'm like, how's that? You're a grown man, you're alive and well, looking the judge in the eyes, you're looking at him, and you say, state your name for the record. You state your name. Unknowingly, you don't really know what you're doing. You don't know court process. You don't know that you're supposed to file an answer in the court case before you got there. Paperwork was supposed to precede you before you go, if you choose to go. You don't know. You're incompetent pretty much. And that's a line. You don't realize that the reality of the situation is that you're in a state of incapacitation. You're not going in there as a dead fiction, or these are things that we hear on the internet. You're not going in there as somebody that's dead, or somebody that's, what they call it, as a legal fiction. I remember I used to do the same thing when I was going to court. I didn't want them calling me Mr. Roseman. I wouldn't let them call me Mr. Roseman. That's why I went in there with that L. McHale thing I was going on. Call me L. McHale. Don't call me nothing else. I didn't want to be called Mr. Roseman. Don't call me Mr. Roseman. Because I knew that it was a difference between me as a living man and that name on that document. But now, the more you study and you understand what they're really doing, and what the power, where their power really comes from, how they're really operating, you learn that all they're doing is just, they're presuming you to be incompetent, in a state of incapacitation. That's all. It goes no deeper than that. Well, it can go deeper than that, but that's the basis of it. That's the basis of it. That's it. We're gonna say it like that. That's the base of the matter. You're going in there as someone who's you're incompetent. You have a legal or physical disability to be able to handle your affairs on your own. That's by definition what they mean, what the state of incapacitation means. It don't necessarily mean you're out cold, you're knocked out or something like that. It is that, but it's more than just that. And I've covered that in previous videos. You can go back and watch my videos about that topic, incapacitation. Look that word up, type it in your Google search. Incapacity, legal definition. Put it in your Google search. Read your law dictionaries. Read Cornell Law is a good source. Go read it. You'll see for yourself. That's the state that you were in when you were first born. All of us come into this world with that status. And people, I was actually in a debate this morning. It was a mini debate. I kind of had to cut it loose because I didn't want to be arguing, getting into an intense debate early in the morning. So, but she and I is a friend of mine. She's pretty good people. And we have a little healthy debate sometime, and sometime I be with it, sometime I don't. And so, we were talking about status and standing, and I ain't gonna go deep into what we were talking about, but it was about when you talk about status. That's the status that you have when you walk in that court when you don't know what you're doing. Incapacitation. And that's the same status that you had when you were first born. This is the reason why this is how the state actually gained control of your estate in the first place. It's because your mother gave consent with the prenatal payment, the prenatal forms that she signed, and she granted the state access to be able to, she gave them permission. She consented, gave them consent to take on the role that they took on as that having power of attorney over your estate. So your estate you're supposed to take control of your estate once you get old enough, you receive that, once you reach the age of majority, you're supposed to take control of your estate. You don't do that, see, first thing is keep in mind, you know nothing about the power of attorney. You don't know it exists. Say you happen to get into a court matter or whatever. That power of attorney still goes. According to the state laws, all the laws say that. It still go there. I mean, the power of attorney is still there. It still is in effect, and they can delegate different powers to different entities, state entities. Keep in mind, most companies, they all register with the state. You know what I'm saying? And so you wonder how they're able to delegate these different powers and do all these different things to you on your behalf. And in many cases they're railroading us, and it goes against the power of attorney in the first place, but they only do that because you don't know that there's a power of attorney put in place. You don't know that your mother's consent gave them power of attorney. By you not knowing that, there's no full disclosure about that. And you go in there talking about, I'm here to challenge jurisdiction, and you don't even know how they got that jurisdiction in the first place. And that jurisdiction that they have is personal jurisdiction, which is jurisdiction over the person. Okay? What person is that? Think about it. What? This is what the laws are saying. They're able to do those things on your behalf until you revoke it. You don't revoke the power of attorney. They're going to be able to do exactly what they're doing. But it's not about going in there as a fiction. You're not going in as a fiction. You're not going in as a dead entity. You're not going in there as, you're not, that's not you. That's not what you're doing. If they really thought you were dead, they wouldn't have served you. They would have just did what they needed to do while without serving you at all. They need your consent. That's why they're serving the one who the estate belongs to. So they can get you to come in there and consent some type of way. And if you don't file nothing in there, that's equivalent to consent. Because that's acquiescence. That's missing. You have a state, that's incapacitation too. If you look up the definition in your state statutes, all of them define what they mean by incapacity. And missing is also a word that's used to describe it as well. So if they send you a petition and you don't respond to it, they send you a summons, you don't respond to it at all, that is missing. That's incapacity. You don't respond to it at all. That's why they're able to go and do things on your behalf, invoking that power of attorney, using that power of attorney. So that's how that works. Something simple. This the only reason the debate took place this morning is because I like to keep shit simple. All this old deep shit these different folks be trying to come up with, is a post that was sent to me by some guy on Instagram, and he was using. I done passed where I was going. He was using, something to describe like the term estate, something so simple. You could look up the definition of an estate. And what he was using was the 13th century definition of a state. And then he also was using the term deity to make them kind of relate some type of way. And I'm like, this type of thing, when people be trying to sound deep what they posted, they put up, because they trying to see some spiritual aspect of things, and they trying to make them commingle, and all they do is create more confusion when they do that. Something so simple, just keep the shit simple, you know. That's why anytime you put skin color in the commercial world, you know, even nationality don't have nothing to do with it. I mean, it really don't. You really can get remedy without talking about, you know, now you claiming a nationality, because it's all about commercial. It's all commercial. You really, I mean, if you want to go the nationality route, that's totally up to you, but it's not necessary. It's not. You serve a power of attorney, you take control of your estate, because your estate is your estate. Your estate don't have no heartbeat. Your estate is your property. You know, it's up to you on how you want it. There's many ways you could do these things, but you know, you don't ever make people feel like you got to go through all these unnecessary processes to get remedy, because that's what I had to learn. You know, I had to learn these things. There's different stuff you just did. All these random, processes that people come up with that's not necessary, and they explain things using sources. Good, it could be good sources, but you can't. But some sources could be obsolete. But some sources are good sources, but if they're using their own narrative to make that source, they're using a credible source to push a different narrative. It's just like when take for instance, when the guy was talking about this state, he was talking about a state. This is an example of what I was debating with this morning. You know, he took the definition of 13th century definition of it, and looking at the etymology of the word. What you got to understand about etymology is just like, for instance, fornication. Everybody knows what fornication means today. Today means fornication. If you look it up in the dictionary, Webster Dictionary, you'll see that it's having sex. We ain't got to look it up. Everybody know. Having sex with somebody, sexual intercourse with somebody that you're not married to. It's called fornication. But if you look at the etymology of the word, you realize it actually means prostitution. They even relate the word brothel to go along with it. You know, that word has history that we don't know, we never were taught about. So we hear somebody's in fornication because they had sex without, being married. And you taking a text that was written centuries ago and you trying to apply it to today as if it carries the same meaning, and you can use that. It opens the door for confusion. Keep in mind, the laws change all the time. Back in the days, in the 1300s, women didn't have rights. Women couldn't own property. That's why you got these people running around here saying that the children belong to the fathers. That's how they said it back in the day. You can't try that shit in 2023. Children belong to both of them. Actually, it always belonged to both of them. But according to the laws during that time, they didn't give women that type of weight. Now women have that rate. Mothers have that same weight now. It's equal now. Even it's equal according to the law, but we fathers got to go the extra mile to assert their rights. But that's another topic for another video. But bottom line is, the laws they change all the time, and when they change, that's why we have all these different amendments to the Constitution, and the different laws change up. That just like you got marijuana is legal in quite a few states now, whereas before across the nation it wasn't legal. Here in Georgia, you don't have to have a license to carry no more. Where in some states they still got it like that, but they changed the laws according to what what laws they change. They change it up. They change up the books. They change the meaning of the words too. You can't use the word prostitution and you can't use the etymology definition of fornication in 2023 and try to apply it to what to somebody. You just say prostitution now, because it's not because fornication doesn't mean the same thing in 2023 that it meant back in the 14th century. You have to change with the time. You got to evolve in your thinking too. And just like 500 years from now, people going to be using the books that they have updated right now that we should be using today. They're going to be using that 500 years from now. So why are we all in the past trying to use some old shit to try to apply it in 2023 as if the new shit is, then this stuff, that this updated stuff is like totally useless. You know, you got to move with the time. You can use that stuff. You can study it so you can have some, some knowledge about it, but you got to acknowledge the fact that times constantly change. The laws constantly change. You have to, constantly evolve in your thinking, evolve in your knowledge, and you're seeking your knowledge. You got to understand that stuff, That's why I tell this one guy that used to call, talking about, his property. He calling his children his property. And, I'm like, he can do that if you want to, but I'm guaranteed they're going to look at your ass crazy, because you're thinking that, your children belong to you only, as if they don't belong to the mother as well. And I'm like, you can't even try that in 2023 because they don't look at your ass like you're crazy. Your best bet is to be trying to, operate from an equal standpoint. You try to do some equity so you can get some relief, so you can do what's fair, as because they already, you just gotta be mindful about stuff like that. But anyway, I thought I'd tap in and kind of make this video because of that. A lot of times, I try to keep things simple when I'm trying to show people stuff. All this old deep shit people be trying to, make something seem. They try to make something seem that like it's not, and then before you know it, your ass confused because you're trying to apply some shit. Just challenge shit by looking it up. Make sure y'all look that stuff up. Anyway, I can't stress that enough. But I'm gonna get on out of here. We'll see y'all in the next video. Hopefully y'all like to subscribe already. And I'll see y'all in the next video. I gotta grab some food for my dad. Talk to y'all in the next video.